the blue side, see a lot of these champions, the Poppy, the Camille, the Vi, things that the jungle support of Shunanon really can take advantage of like they did all MSI long. Won't have any of those tools available today.
Lots of the standard things being banned away at this point. Not surprised to see that Orianna taken away by BLG. Really don't want to be giving that one over. See what the final ban they're looking to take away is going to be. A lot of teams been opting to ban away things like the Cassios and the Jaces, just taking away a lot of those high priority picks. Instead, going to take out the Lee Sin. So clearly, a little bit of worry on towards this jungle.
Junhao, a very proficient Lee Sin player. We'll see what ThunderTalk want to target. Things like the lock still have not been selected here in the LPL this season. They're going to go for a Jace flex. Definitely can go Junhao's way. Keshi comfortable on it as well.
Yeah, we've seen the Jace moving around plenty as well. And so in terms of priority picks that you've now got available to you, a lot of these available mid laners are still here. Things that you really like to see, I was going to say, the Syndra or the Cassiopeia would be my pickups for just grab them, immediately set yourself up for success. Works pretty well, and alongside the Jarvan too, this is a great setup for just an immediate team fighting composition.
Or just even a good mid-jungle 2v2, right? You throw the Miasma down, you throw the Cataclysm over, no opportunity to flash away from that wall. Easy pickings for anybody who goes into their grasp, and it could be a good thing to look at here for BLG. Shunan Knight linking up and having an immediate impact in this game. Nautilus for Feather, very classic pickup for him. I think a lot of these supports in the LPL are going to benefit from the rise of these more roaming tank melee supports back into the meta instead of the enchanters. I think Feather is one of those players.
Oh yeah, Feather very much was one of those players who we thought he was pretty good with the enchanters, but whenever he could get his hands on one of these engaged supports, it looked a lot better. And that Ziggs being locked in right here, obviously a bit of a flex pick. We've mainly been seeing the Ziggs down in the bottom lane recently, so that is where we'd expect it to end up. In fact, APCs have really been rising in priority in the most recent couple of patches.
See Knight doing a little scouting report for Wenbo, some of the champions that he likes to play the most, things like that Gnar, Mbessa, Gwen, Fiora, and then the Yorick getting locked in. Good matchup into the Jace, something that BLG generally are comfortable with. They played a lot of Yorick compositions with Bin, now can try to do that with Wenbo as well.
Indeed, and I do like the fact that they're just fully leaning into what it is that he likes to play a lot of. Still, not necessarily thrilled to see a Yorick on somebody that isn't Bin. As much as we're talking about him as a potentially mini Bin, oftentimes if you're not a Bin player on Yorick, we've seen this champion begin to fall behind, and especially when you've got yourself the Cassiopeia and the Jarvan, would have liked to see a team fighting top laner, something a bit tankier. We'll obviously have to wait and see if Wenbo's going to play it more alongside the team, or if he's going to sit off in the side lanes a little bit extra.
So it looks like actually BLG is still thinking that the Jace could be a bit more flexible, or maybe the Jax jungle could have been an option for Junhao. That is a takeaway to start off our second phase of the pick ban. Looking for the bot lane of BLG to be locked in this second round of this draft. See things like the Bard now taken away. More things that On can impact the map with will now be eliminated by ThunderTalk.
Yeah, and I really like to see the ban onto the Bard right here. It's been something that we've seen On play a decent chunk of in the past couple splits and has been really, really fun to watch. Just completely taking over the map. The Nefiri ban going to come through as well. I do think that Jax ban was going to be on towards the jungle, on towards Junhao, looking to focus out some more of these aggressive pickups. So 3 aggressive junglers being taken off of the board. Still leaving something like the Nocturne over if that's what you want to go towards. Although for ThunderTalk, with this composition right now, they're going to need something tankier. They're going to need something that can give them some good engage coming through. Not so sure that any of those pickups would have been it.
A lot of focus towards On. You could argue 4 support bans thrown at them by ThunderTalk, as well as a takeaway of the Nautilus. Shen, though, still available, one of the pioneers on this pick, as well as the Anivia, the Camille, a lot of different things that On has really made a name for over this year. Looked like one of the best supports in the world as well, alongside players like Keria. Gonna be that Shen. Locked in, potentially some flexibility, but not expecting it to go anywhere other than that support role to match alongside Viper.
The early 15 or so minutes of skirmishing and fighting out of BLG is going to be incredibly strong right here. They have got themselves plenty of ganks set up for these lanes. They can get really aggressive in a lot of different places. Then once On has himself that ulti, can be moving around the map as well. So I really like the foundations that BLG have been able to put together for themselves. On the side of ThunderTalk, some strong pieces, but a little bit more disparate overall. Grabbing themselves this Akali as well will secure that Ziggs into the bottom lane. And that leaves BLG with a lot of different options down there, right? As much as the Ziggs can be a bit of an oppressive lane, alongside the Nautilus, you don't have to worry about it so much. The Akali, though, obviously a big threat onto the backline. We'll see what actual threats you're going to have to it, though, because right now for the Akali, the only real assassination option will be the Cassiopeia, and that's not a particularly easy target to get on top of.
I was gonna say the Kiana would make ThunderTalk a very squishy composition. Maybe like a Jhin for Viper would have been really good. Oh, they're gonna send the Cassio bot lane. I should have expected it, honestly. With the Rise getting locked in, better matchup potentially in both areas of the map. It's gonna send this Cassio down bot, Rise into the mid lane for Knight. Very solid champion for him. And that's the standard BLG draft in 2026.
Absolutely it is. Alrighty, so looking at these compositions overall, BLG, I really like what they've got in terms of their map rotation and their team fighting. Having both the Rise and the Shen together means that any plays that you're looking to make onto the side lanes are going to be that much harder for ThunderTalk, and that's particularly important in a situation where BLG have this Yorick. It now can sit in the side lanes, push further up than you would usually be able to, because you know you've got that rotating support to come alongside it if needs be, or you can rotate onto the other side of the map and make something happen over there. I really like what BLG have, whereas for ThunderTalk, again, lots of different parts, but I'm not so secure in how they're going to be able to play this as a straight up 5v5.
Yeah, a lot of assassins, a lot of interesting opportunities for plays, early game explosivity for ThunderTalk, but I think BLG, in terms of just their raw composition, might just have the better edge if they are at an even game state and have Wenbo just able to stay alive there up on the top side of the map. Should be a fun one here between BLG and ThunderTalk. Again, the debut of both of these teams this split. BLG debuting Wenbo, his first game on an LPL stage, and ThunderTalk, some fellow BLG Junior members that will be going up against him.
Indeed, lots and lots to be excited for in this matchup, and as we've been talking about, right, the return of the defending champions, seeing how it is that BLG are going to be able to explode onto the Rift right here.
Some passionate ThunderTalk fans there. Love to see it. I know they're a smaller fan base, but hey, they got some love here in Shenzhen as well.
Absolutely, and I mean, the BLG, they were topping that mic out as well. Those fans obviously have had a lot to cheer for recently and are feeling good coming on into this split. But like you said, great to hear that ThunderTalk are as excited as well. So we jump on into this game and immediately some heavier trading down in the bottom lane. That's not changed from the split before whatsoever.
On landing that taunt onto On. Oh, that's going to be annoying. Oh, God. Okay. Locking in for this as we get the first Cassio bot lane in the LPL since Jackie Love in 2019 IG versus FPX. Obviously, I believe Viper played this at MSI, if I'm not mistaken. It was definitely a prominent pickup in general in that tournament. And one of the pioneers of that mage bot lane meta was Viper on BLG.
Absolutely, and if you think about what it is that makes Cassio so annoying to play against in the mid lane, you know, you get hit by that Noxious Blast and then suddenly you're just getting walked down by those Twin Fangs. Well, that's extra oppressive when you're down in the bottom side of the map because it's a longer lane. If you're pushed further up, that can be so frustrating to deal with, although potentially a gank coming through right here from ThunderTalk.
Yeah, like an early level 3 here for Junhao. Clears his bot side, then looks here for the bottom lane. On to On. They're going to force the 3 Talon Strike. Knock up, not connecting. When becomes Lightning goes wide. Oh, On with a really nice escape. Gets himself out scot-free.
In fact, he's able to just kind of walk that one out. Yes, you're going to lose out onto the flashes, but you still end up with this lane in basically the exact same position it was in before. Full wave going to get shoved on in right here, and On chunked down pretty aggressively. I like to see the early aggression at least, but now it looks like Jun going to try for something on the other side of the map.
Well, that's the trade-off here, is that BLG's jungler and Shun cleared the entirety of his top side while Junhao went for that gank that yielded nothing. Meaning that an early invade is in the works for the Jarvan. Could look for the Wolves, could even look for the blue buff. Looks like Junhao will secure that 4th camp and then look for a play. What? Doesn't connect here for Shun, and all of a sudden, a bit of an advantage going the way of ThunderTalk.
Yeah, I mean, they knew that they had On Roman on up, and they're still going to go for this play, potentially. The shove has also come through from Wenbo in the top lane, so this should be stolen away right here, especially with the smite not quite up and available for Junhao. And it's just going to be the blue buff taken. A really nice punish, a really nice read right here from BLG to recognize that they can step up in this situation. And down in the bottom side of the map, you don't need to worry about these APCs. They're going to be just fine to sit by themselves.
Junhao really wanted to go for that Gromp, might still get punished for it as we see, again, some skirmishing between the jungle supports. The best jungle support of the world is Shun and On, and they are proving it here on the Junhao. It'll be the Shen taking first blood in this opening game.
And that's just going bad to worse right here for ThunderTalk, trying a gank down in the bottom side of the map. And it's On, styling on him down in the bottom side and up on the top side right here. Now bot lane.
Flashes onto On. On has a summoner spell of his own, but another Twin Fangs will sink into him, forcing the flash out of the Ziggs. Nice play to get some tempo down in the bot lane for BLG.
This is exactly what I was talking about just before we got that gank in the bottom side of the map. The long lane makes this Cassiopeia so much more annoying to deal with than it already is in the mid lane. And now that you don't have that flash available to you right here as On, you are so much more vulnerable, not just to the Cassiopeia, but to any potential repeat ganks that could come on through from Jun.
Oh, mid lane getting a little spicy as well. Knight's very low. He should go down, but might try to make a trade here onto Heru. Dredgeline just goes wide. Oh, it's the great escape. We're in the circus here for BLG, as both of their players have gotten out with less health than they probably were expecting.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a sliver of HP right there, but just about going to be able to walk this one away. And already some explosivity across the map, and only one kill still. About 1,000 gold, the advantage beginning to form right here for BLG. The vast majority of that sat on the support and the jungle at the moment, as On, he's been having himself a really nice early game.
What he does, what he did all MSI, what he did in the LPL playoffs, and now doing it here in Split 3. Shun and On once again joining up to take this first dragon of the game. And again, it's something that every team in the LPL is going to have to question when they play BLG. How do we stop On and Shun from just completely taking over in early?
And especially when On is on a champion like the Shen right here, where once he gets that level 6 through, he's going to be able to rotate around the map so much easier as well. It just makes it that much tougher of a question posed right here to ThunderTalk. Still, the fact that he has been roaming around so much right now does mean he's only level 3 at the moment, so going to be a while until we actually get to see that stand united.
Yeah, that's the one downside of going for the roams, is that you're often not at level 6, you know, at these crucial moments, like around the grubs, maybe even around the Rift Herald in certain situations. And so On might have to wait for that, but he still is providing a lot of impact across the Rift at this point. And Viper, being the player that he is, still able to hold strong, stay even in CS, despite his support probably being closer to his jungler than he's been to him throughout this game.
Very, very much so. I mean, you get those beautiful proximity stats right here, and so far off of the back of one game, Jun and Ons is going to be incredibly high for each other. Still, throughout this early game, not too much more explosivity coming on through. Things have slowed down just a little bit. BLG sat with that small advantage though, and as we were talking about during the draft, this is a composition that skirmishes well, and they're looking to do it right here.
Yeah, going for a dive onto the Ziggs, On with a flash taunt onto his synonymous counterpart. It'll be Knight being able to take that second kill of the game. Feather flashes away from the Cataclysm will mean that there is not much more for BLG to take. Man, On did all he could in that to try to survive the dive using the Mega Inferno Bomb. Still not going to result in anything. Junhao now going in. He's level 5, but remember, Shun already used the ultimate. He flashed under his tower. Another taunt connects from On. Oh, and it's BLG slaughtering ThunderTalk in this skirmish. Heru looking to try to make
Heru,
something happen again. He gets immediately hit up by the flag and drag. He's in the miasma. He cannot escape just yet. Looking for potentially that public execution, perfect execution, and it will be able to take at least one down, and the Satchel will send Knight back. On dashes in. That's his third taunt of the fight, and it's a double kill picked up for the Shen, a double kill for On as well. Man, oh man, what a chaotic bottom lane sequence.
Absolutely brutal right there for ThunderTalk. Yes, they're able to get a couple of kills back onto On, but he now also needs to be a little bit careful. Stepping up into the bush, actually, Viper, no mana, but On is here, and On has been just playing beautifully so far. MVP this man right now.
And here's Wenbo from the top lane. Will land that cage onto On as well.
Sure.
Make it easy pickings for the Shen. Dash in there with the Shadow Assault. One more Q from Wenbo will get him his first LPL kill. And On is going to make him work for it, but there it is. Congratulations, Wenbo. You are on the board for BLG.
There we go. Interesting that he decided to just walk his way down towards the bottom side of the map. Is able to pick up a kill for it. Of course, that does allow Keshi to get some good turret plating up on the top side and giving over some extra gold to this Jace. Not necessarily the best idea overall. We'll have a look back at this one, and like you said, Arn trying his absolute best to stop this dive from working, but the taunts from On were just laser focused. The fact he's able to survive from this one on a sliver HP and remains useful for the rest of this fight is incredible. I do not quite understand the decision-making that we're about to see right here, though. I understand at this point, Junhao, he's always going to go down here. He's completely and utterly made a mistake. But Heru, I don't know how he gets away with this one, because the second he's caught in the miasma right here, at least he has his shroud, but still, just about buys enough time to be able to get one kill back for the squad.
They actually end up taking down Knight too, who got stunned up enough by Feather that Satchel Charge sent him back in. There it is. There's that second kill going towards the Ziggs. Could end up being impactful down the line, but regardless, it's almost a 2,500 gold lead for BLG as we get towards the 10-minute mark of this game. I believe the Grubs were secured by them as well, though we'll have to check once those quests are completed. For now, definitely our defending champions putting the work in.
Very much so, getting themselves to about a 3,000 gold lead at this point. Still, first items have not quite come through. Those are going to be coming in the next couple of minutes. And once they do, if you thought the skirmishing was pretty strong before, things are going to be getting that much better still. Some brilliant late game scaling from both squads as well, though. It's not like either is on a particularly rough timer. With the first Drake going on over to BLG, let's see if they're going to be able to stack them up. With all of the bot lane pressure they have, you would expect that to be the case. And they're in fact even rotating Wembo back towards the top lane to get some more members down bot lane for this upcoming fight.
The other side, though, is Keshi getting a couple of plates on his own. Sure, Wenbo got that kill, but actually has been the other BLG Juniors top laner that got an advantage, at least in the CS department. But the thing about this Yorick lane is that once you get trapped into a cage, it is very difficult for the Jace to play the game, and you see that right there. The Ghoul, once again as well with the Maiden, going to once again be a difficult thing for Keshi to try and navigate. But On's going to make it a little bit easier. Throws out the statue and takes that first turret of the game, actually, for ThunderTalk.
Wembo needed to be careful right there. 4 members of ThunderTalk heading towards the top side of the map, looking to take away camps, recognizing the fact that Jun was always going to head towards the bottom lane, get himself that second Drake of the game. But again, it's just giving Viper some extra time to scale up. It's giving BLG some extra time to make plays happen, and now they're looking to potentially collapse back down. This is the joy of having this heavy roaming squad. You can always threaten onto these side lanes really effectively.
It's going to be that second dragon picked up for BLG. Take a look at the itemization that their team has gone for as well. Double tier and rod for Knight and Viper, meaning that they're going to continue to be able to scale nicely into this game, build on what is already almost a 2,000 gold lead. With poke damage onto On, he should be alright. Now Shun gets his jungle item upgrade as well. Things are looking very good here for Bilibili Gaming.
Indeed they are. They've got themselves a great bit of control over this game. No real worries for them overall, it looks like. And at this point, right now you're beginning to get these first items coming on through. Sun Sky, big part of what's going to make Jun an effective skirmisher, an effective team fighter coming on in. Rod of Ages as well, available for Knight. Get that one stacked up. He's going to be an absolute beast in the next 10 or 15 minutes or so. Until then, though, can just kind of sit back, chill out a little bit. There's no real pressure on BLG to make anything happen too explosively right now, and it seems like they're recognizing that. Sitting back, playing calm and comfortable. I think it's going to be far more on ThunderTalk to just get away back into this game. They need a foothold somewhere.
Maybe that somewhere can be On, maybe it can be Keshi. Both of them been looking good so far. Again, for ThunderTalk, just another chance to try to prove yourself in Group Ascend. Sure, BLG is going to be a tough opponent. Perhaps down the line they should be able to pick up other opportunities for real good chances at winning some series and getting up into the standings. Again, you have to be top 6 here in Group Ascend in order to get an automatic bid into the playoffs. Take a look at some of our former Nirvana representatives, ThunderTalk, EDG, and LGD. One of those teams will clinch one of those auto spots at the very least, maybe even more.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, looking at these splits between the groups, seeing NIP, IG, Weibo down in Group Nirvana, it just feels wrong. It just looks wrong, but this is the new order of the LPL right now, and as we've been talking about, all of these former Group Nirvana teams are really going to be looking to make it stick. They want to put themselves in as good a position as possible to pick up those playoff buys, keep themselves in the top group, whatever that may look like coming into next year as well.
And just opportunities for your organization to move up the ladder a little bit here in the LPL. A lot of things are staggered. Again, this is the first meeting between ThunderTalk and BLG all season long. A lot of that is because of the different groups that these teams are placed in throughout the regular season. And of course, ThunderTalk and BLG have not faced off in the playoffs yet. But now in Group Ascend, ThunderTalk, alongside some of these other teams in LGD and EDG, are finally going to get the opportunity to play against some higher level competition throughout the regular season, right? They'll get to play their BLGs, the JDGs, the tops, really test themselves as younger rosters against some teams that are maybe a little bit more proven.
Indeed, indeed, and it's always exciting to see. One of my favorite bits about it all is just getting to see these newer players, these younger squads, really being able to shine versus some of the top teams. Still, not so much shining in this one from ThunderTalk. BLG stepping up once again, looking to steal away some of their camps, although On taking a decent chunk of damage right here. On, at this point, certainly does hurt with the Ludens completed. He is going to be able to walk himself back away from this one. BLG need to cede the pressure.
20 seconds until that Rift Herald spawns. You know BLG would very much like to have it. All the role quests are completed except for supports. Man, that's not surprising at all. So they have not been the bot lane one bit at this point in the game. Like some recess actually coming through from BLG at this point. Knight and On both returning to the top side of the map to try to fight for Shelly that is spawning about now.
Getting those quick resets coming on through, and big first items fully completed over on the side of ThunderTalk. They're fully looking for this one. Both top laners down in the bottom side of the map could potentially come and join these fights. Teleports are available.
So for now, going to be a 4v4 opened up. Keshi and Wenbo instead going to duke it out down to their tier 1 turret. Actually, could be an opportunity for Wenbo to claim that tower, but instead backing away, joining a fight could be the play. On going to be the target immediately, as it will be Junhao and Feather trying to lock him down. Crescent Guard doing a lot to block out the damage coming back from BLG, and now Heru and Knight are stuck in a 1v1. The Rise in the Akali, duking it out. Heru sees the perfect execution away, and now Shun will go for an engage himself. This time on to Junhao with the Cataclysm, but he's taking a lot of damage. Nearly goes down, but will end up surviving with the help of his flash. Knight gets the first kill on the Feather. On flashes forward and helps him get a second, and BLG win yet another team fight. They're backing away as the teleport's coming forward from Keshi to try to claim one back. He's got a lot of damage, but it's a 4v1. It would be a dangerous spot for him to engage upon, and so it will be ThunderTalk backing away and BLG gaining control around the Rift Herald pit.
Indeed it does, but we spent so long playing around this fight that actually... Hang on.
Taunt nearly connecting, and now Keshi gonna nearly take him down, and the bouncing bomb from On will do it. The Shen dies for the first time in this game. Spirit's Refuge not going to stop that Ziggs Q. And now ThunderTalk have the upper hand in mid lane, forcing a TP out of Wenbo, getting a couple of plates for themselves. Hey, ThunderTalk playing a competitive game. They're finding their picks. They're getting opportunities, and they're going to actually claim a dragon for themselves.
Indeed, that was what I was about to say before On steps up and gets himself a little bit caught out. The fact that we spent so long around that Rift Herald in the top side meant that actually the Drake had enough time to spawn, and it meant that you had an out, something else to go and play around right here from ThunderTalk. Still, this team fight not going to be ideal from them. The Crescent Guard really is the big thing. Over on the other side of the map, though, Knight just winning out on this 1v1. He's been an absolute sniper right here. The Flux doing so much damage for him. And then this lovely realm walk forwards just completely scatters the members of ThunderTalk away. And he's able to pump the damage once he arrives on in. The fact that you do lose out onto that Drake, not going to be ideal. Not everything you were looking for as BLG.
Gold lead only at about 1,000, but Junhao getting targeted by the flag and drag of Shun. Won't be able to get much more than that. TT doing a good job staying in this one, although Wenbo now going to collapse upon the bottom lane tier 1. Take that one down with the help of his Demolish. Simultaneously, Knight takes the tier 1 down top lane, and the gold lead has swung right back up to 2k. Keshi lands that accelerated shock blast, goes to the skies, but Knight actually flashes away from it. Keshi's still looking for the play, though. Onto his former teammate will take him down. Keshi with a solo kill onto the reigning MVP.
There we go. Let's see if Shun's going to be able to get in there and find a kill back. No, Keshi's just going to be able to walk this one away. And not only does he pick up that kill, but he critically blows the flash of Knight. So Knight's now going to be in a far worse position overall. when it comes to surviving or being able to play aggressively in the coming fights. Really nice right here of the top laner from ThunderTalk.
And it's a big moment here for a young player like Keshi. Last year, a part of BLG's developmental system, moves over to ThunderTalk alongside Heru in the LPL, getting a shot, a tier 1 opportunity, and now taking advantage of it. In a bit of an up and down split, or season I should say, for Keshi and Heru, some of these younger rookies, but they've really turned it on as of late. We're seeing that now with that performance from Keshi here on this Jace so far.
Oh, good hook as well, going to land. Big chunk of damage out of On already. He's just going to go down.
Spirit's Refuge, a lot of healing though. Comes back up on him. He will eventually get dropped. As On gets another kill, that's his 4th of the game. ThunderTalk once again keeping things competitive. Herald has been dropped. On was probably trying to get into that to try to escape. Instead, will get smited down before doing a single lick of damage to the tier 1 turret mid.
After all of that, the fact that they used the Rift Herald for absolutely nothing means that they just lost out onto it for that kill in the top lane that we're going to have a look back at right here. And also for that Drake down on the bottom side of the map as well. ThunderTalk kind of just playing the map slightly better than BLG at the moment. And this is just nice right here from Keshi. Flashing in, making sure he can close that distance. Bit of a stat check more than any real specific expression of skill on this champion. But hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, kill's a kill. And now he's got that on his resume. Solo killed Knight in the LPL. Shout out to you, Keshi. Picks up his 2nd completed item in the Youmuu's Ghostblade. And will be the strong point alongside On for ThunderTalk, who are once again keeping things competitive against our defending champions in Bilibili Gaming.
Indeed, the fact that they've even been able to play the early game this competitive, this back and forth, already fills me for a lot of hope with this team going on forwards. Obviously, the Baron now going to be the big thing for both of these squads to be looking at, and with the item breakpoints coming on through for ThunderTalk, they're beginning to get to the point where they can truly fight back. Right now, more than anything, Keshi is a monster. 2 items completed on him. On as well completes his Shadow Flame, so he's going to be wrecking whoever's in front of him. You've got to be very respectful as BLG, right? You've seen now a couple fights in a row where On goes to look forwards, and Grapes, he's getting caught out every time.
Yeah, I mean, when ThunderTalk can collapse upon somebody, find a pick, that is where their composition really shines, right? 100 to 0s, little, all-ins from players like Keshi on the Jace, like Heru on the Akali. But BLG in a full-on 5v5, they're going to do a little bit better for themselves. They have the Knight Rise, the Viper Cassiopeia. They're going to scale up. They almost have their Rod of Ages completed as well. That's going to be a late-game win condition that it's going to be difficult for ThunderTalk to try to match up against.
Indeed, it's going to make things quite the acceleration, and they're going to have to be very careful about that one. And 30 seconds until the next Drake will spawn. Currently 2 to BLG, 1 for ThunderTalk. ThunderTalk are able to grab themselves a soul with all 4 of these Hextech Drakes. That would be a massive boost of damage for them potentially. So something to keep on tracking. Mid lane priority going to be established by ThunderTalk, but there's plenty of wave clear back and forth.
Looking for a flank again. Remember the synergy between that Jarvan and the Cassie. We might just see it here. There's the Cataclysm forward, and the big carry for ThunderTalk is down. Keshi in the Death Chamber means that ThunderTalk are in massive trouble. They get another kill in the mid lane, another around the river, and Wenbo's chasing Heru down bottom. It is an all areas domination for Bilibili Gaming around Summoner's Rift. Heru is forced to flash away on the next target as Knight will try to shut him down here. The Zig's not long for his world without a flash. It'll be Knight picking up the kill, and BLG with a team fight win.
There we go. All of a sudden, BLG explode back onto the Rift with a really nice team fight. And ThunderTalk, they just misstep. They don't have enough vision in the river at all. They tried to step up a little bit too close, and they get collapsed upon instantaneously. Junhao as well tries to get into the backline, tries to deal his damage, but the stand united from On more than enough to stop that from coming through. And this was the other thing. Wow. Teleport cancelled by the cage. Really well played from Wenbo right there.
Oh, and now Heru is looking to try to make a play in response. Teleport comes in from Keshi as well, buying a lot of time in the Twilight Shroud. Eventually will go down, but Wenbo will be a trade, and Knight sure to follow. It's a 2v1 here for Knight. He pops the Hourglass to try to stay alive, but it'll be a shutdown going the way of Keshi as ThunderTalk answer back.
And I wonder if this is just going to be the Baron right here for BLG. Anytime you've got yourself a Cassiopeia, you have massive and fast Baron damage available to you. They have a look, see if they can potentially steal this one away. ThunderTalk recognize this, and so won't lose that as well. But all of a sudden, things balloon out. About a 3.5k gold lead. We'll have a look back at this one. On really nice angle right here. Sneaks in behind the pit. gets himself a great taunt into the combo as well. Flag and drag from Jun, beautiful right there. And it's very tricky to play these team fights as ThunderTalk without the vision. As you said, they're a bit more of a pick composition, and they can't just step up 5v5 into the meat grinder that is BLG.
Realm Warp in, takedown on. The backside, Junhao also died to the likes of Viper, who then immediately went over to take the dragon. And then we, of course, saw Heru almost go down as well. The back end of things ended up being more favorable to ThunderTalk because, again, as you mentioned, Bloxer, scrappier situation, not a full-on 5v5.
Exactly. When it's the full 5v5s, that's where BLG's composition is really going to shine. And again, the tricky thing about their composition is that they can force the 5v5s through so much mobility across the map for these champions. It means ThunderTalk, they're going to have to be very careful about when and where they decide to find these fights. Right now, all 5 members stacked up around this Baron. Somebody's going to have to go bot side because Wembo is pushing.
Now Keshi might get caught out by Shun as well. He was hiding in that bush. Nice done. Very patient from him, but he might run into the Jarvan all the same. Flag and drag comes through. The Sand United as well. It's going to be 3 members going down onto Keshi. They know he's the win condition for ThunderTalk, and they will make sure there is no win condition available, at least for the next 47 seconds.
Really well read right here from BLG. Knew somebody was going to have to respond to Wembo's push down on the bottom side of the map. They get this pick. Now, what can they get out of it right here? They're going to have a push going on in the mid lane and on the bottom side of the map. Do not feel confident despite killing the enemy top laner to start going for the Baron, however. So they're just going to keep pushing through these lanes.
Tier 2 tower in the mid lane going to go down. BLG kind of righting the ship after that last sequence of plays. ThunderTalk have been able to find their off kills here and there. But in terms of the objectives, in terms of just where the gold is situated at this point, it's still Bilibili up 5k. Now maybe even looking for more as Shun goes with the flag and drag onto Feather. Still does not have the Cataclysm available. The depth charge lands on tonight. Could be a re-engage for Junhao. A 4-man Crescent Guard. They're going to try to single out the Jarvan. Nearly take him down. The Scorch not going to do it as Knight gets kill number 8 instead. Heru looking for a flank. Petrifying Gaze finds Feather. And now the Akali is in the middle of 3 members of Bilibili Gaming and will not be able to find a single kill until he finds Shun for his 2nd death of the game, but it will come at the cost of the rest of his squad. Knight goes forward, takes another one down, and that will be another team fight win, and likely, nope, not the Baron, as Shun is dead. They will instead just go to reset here for BLG.
Small little thing to start that fight off, but Viper hits a Noxious Blast over the wall, and it means when he's able to step in within that Crescent Guard, he rips through Junhao's health bar right here. Between Knight and Viper, the amount of damage output this squad has available to them is crazy. We'll have a look back at the replay of what ended up happening down on the bottom side of the map, because, yeah, things went a little bit wrong. This is just a straight-up Jace moment. We saw one for Knight, so Wembo, don't worry about it, bud. I mean, if it can happen to Knight, it can happen to you.
Taking a look at the rest of this fight, though, Junhao had the right idea. Just a little bit too early compared to the rest of his team arriving.
Redding. I mean, the damage is huge. Oh, actually, we jump back out, and Keshi almost
dead. Keshi in trouble. Keshi is, in fact, dead as Knight goes off. One-shots him and goes up to 11-3. The rest of ThunderTalk in some trouble now as Viper is hunting on a down. Gets himself the kill with the Twin Fangs. Wenbo a double as well. No Baron, no problem for BLG. They might just push down mid right now.
Yeah, I mean, they could potentially try for the end. Instead, they're going to play this one a little bit safer. No need to over-aggress on this one and head up towards the top side of the map. This will be Baron for BLG. And as much as ThunderTalk, they fought back, they found angles in this game. It is just not enough. The overwhelming force of Knight in this game has been crazy.
Yeah, he didn't have the craziest start, I don't really think.
No,
he's 11-3. 11-3-7 right now. That's just kind of the player that he is.
Just Rise Gaming. We'll have a look back at what it was that we had missed whilst being in the replay. Keshi just so low already. Chunked out, gets taken down through the burn. And again, as much as I think Knight has been playing beautifully, On has also had a great game so far. Those taunts have been beautiful.
Classic top laner, one more wave syndrome. Trying to stay for a little bit longer than he probably should have. Results in him and the rest of his team losing a big fight. something that a young top laner like Keshi going to have to continue to learn throughout his young LPL career. Soul Dragon now available for BLG. Knight has to go golden as Junhao dashes forward on him with the Audacious Charge. Gets bursted by the Mega Inferno Bomb, but still will be able to live. 2 kills already for BLG as Wembo's eviscerating the backline of TT. Already takes down On. Keshi, his next target, might not win the 1v1, but he's got the rest of his squad on his side to hunt Keshi down. Ace for BLG as they'll march down the bottom lane to try to claim game 1.
This should be the end of game number 1 right here. BLG looking clean enough in this first game. 10,000 gold, suddenly the advantage, but there's so little that you can do as ThunderTalk. Viper, damn, he looks good on the Snake.
The mage bot lanes for BLG continue to shine. Might not be the full end of the game as BLG instead backs away, claims the Hextech Soul, and will look to try to play things out just a little bit slower. Regardless, it'll be another tower taken down in the bottom lane for Viper. Maybe the inhibitor, depending on how much work these minions can do. Should not be actually that full structure going down. I think to Viper's credit, didn't want that to end up happening.
I think they were more than happy to just back away at this point, wanting to take down all of these outer towers first. Now it is just the ThunderTalk base left up available for them. For ThunderTalk, if they want to get back into this game, they're going to need a bit of a miracle right now. Heru into the backline, Junhao into the backline. Keshi does have plenty of damage available to him, has also completed that Serpent's Fang, so he is going to be more annoying than you would have previously imagined. I just don't know if it's going to be enough.
One more inhibitor tower still left available. It is on the top side. That is where Wenbo stands. Baron buff available for another 45 seconds. BLG looking for one final push to try to claim this first game. Keshi throws at the Shock Blast, not connecting onto anybody. He really needs to have a great fight if ThunderTalk want to stay alive. Underneath the tower they go, and the tower is now gone. Shun with the Cataclysm forward on a Feather, and already Junhao has fallen. Flag and Drag connects. On gonna get targeted underneath the Miasma, and Knight picks up yet another kill. Guardian Angel has been procced by Shun, but it should not matter, as the rest of ThunderTalk are trapped in their own fountain with nowhere to go but back underneath their base. Nexus down in 30 minutes, and BLG claim game 1.
Nice and quick, pretty easy looking overall. I was impressed with how close it was kept for the first 20 minutes by ThunderTalk, but BLG, the overwhelming force of this squad, really came to show in the end.
Hey, didn't look too bad to start off this one. Wenbo, a very successful debut, I would say, for him in that first game. Still has the rest of the series to close out, but on the York, did his job, right? Staying active in the side lane. Sure, died a couple of times, maybe where he couldn't have or shouldn't have, but ended up helping BLG get to that win. I think that is a blueprint for how BLG is going to have to play out the rest of the split until they figure out the rest of their top lane situation.
Yeah, exactly, and I was impressed with Wenbo. I didn't see anything right there that I thought was particularly egregious. He gets solo killed by Keshi, but as we said, right, Knight had gotten solo killed by him earlier on in the game. At some point, you do just get Jaced, and the Jace was in an incredibly strong position right there. Everything else was really nice, cancelling that TP from On, keeping a fight far more even than it otherwise would have for BLG. Constant split push pressure as well. Be interested to see what he's able to do on a less split push focused champion, on a bit more of a tanky teamfight orientated champion. But so far, so good.
Hey, they got the win, and really wasn't a disaster by any means. Sure, Keshi got fed. I think a lot of that was because of the CS lead that he got, but you know, part of it not necessarily Wenbo's fault as well. He did what he had to do to help his team out, and when you got Knight on your team, things generally go pretty well. He again had a tremendous performance there on that Rise. Viper steady as ever on the Cassiopeia bottom lane, on the Shen, going alongside Shun, going every which way around Summoner's Rift. That is exactly the blueprint that BLG need in order to pick up another win.
Absolutely. Over on the other side of things for ThunderTalk, again, Keshi played that one really well. Junhao just was getting bullied around his jungle. He tries for that early gank in the bottom lane, and things just begin going wrong from there. Never really stop going wrong. I mean, oh baby, 40k damage coming out of Knight as well. So this was always going to be a very, very tough one to play out. But the fact that Junhao loses out on the bottom lane, then gets pushed out of his jungle topside, just not reading the map situation well, thinking he was stronger at that point in the game than he really was.
And I think there were good moments from ThunderTalk here in this game. Obviously, Keshi shined with some of his solo kills. They got a lot of stuff into On's pockets, right? On the Ziggs, he was 4-0 at some point in this game. But when it comes down to it, BLG just the better players of the map in that mid game, really able to break that game open despite, you know, a couple mistakes going their way, allowing for TT to get a couple of advantages in certain areas.
Absolutely, and I would just also like to mention with ThunderTalk, I'm not sure I love the idea of on these APCs. We talk about how we really like Viper on them, and I agree with that. I think he is pretty good with them. Arn just doesn't strike me as being particularly great. We've seen him play a couple good games of these APCs in the past, right? I remember a good Syndra game out of him once, but overall, I think he's a lot better on these front-to-back mega carries, hyper carry kind of things for him, rather than this sort of style. The Ziggs is the most within his wheelhouse, and it still didn't look great here. I think if ThunderTalk want to win, they really need to step back to a more traditional ADC situation.
Yeah, it's one thing to play weak side Mage for Viper, who has Knight, Shun on his team, right? Able to go to other areas. For ThunderTalk, really has been on being the main carry for a lot of their wins. Again, the big upgrade for TT from Split 1 to Split 2, really helping them get into Group Ascend throughout their season. So having him on more of a supportive player, a champion, maybe not as good. Sure, Keshi had some good moments in that game, but would love to see something like, you know, the Ezreal, the Kai'Sa, whatever it is, get popped out here by On, as Caitlyn has also been really good, to just see if maybe that can be a difference here.
Yeah, exactly. See what they can do, because it is unfortunately going to have to be back to the drawing board for them. They played a competent enough game as ThunderTalk, but if you want to beat the likes of BLG, you're going to have to play a really damn good game, or you're going to have to catch BLG napping. Maybe the top lane can be focused into heavier. They obviously did play very heavy into the top lane with this matchup, the Jace doing well for itself, as we said, but Junhao didn't really gank top lane particularly. He didn't look towards going into that lane very much. Feather as well was more worried about having to help Junhao out in his own jungle than being able to make something happen specifically in that lane, and I think it's always worth, when there's a rookie on the other team, giving them a test, seeing what they're made of, making sure they have their real welcome to the LPL moment.
And you know what? He did.
He did.
Shout out to Wenbo,
Yeah,
able to pick up a win. You know, I'm sure there's things he's going to look back on, but at the end of the day, hey, made his debut on the LPL stage, got to play with some really high-tier players, and at least win your first game. Sure, there's still the rest of the series to be played. BLG certainly looking good in terms of their chances in games 2, 3, and beyond. Take a look at what could be our player of the game. I think there's two ways you could go with this one, Bloxer. Probably Knight for, you know, the KDA, or On for the early game playmaking. Any thoughts for you?
I'd prefer to go to On. Knight's gonna win MVP at the end of the split anyway, so like, whatever. We'll give it to On. I was really impressed with the way On played early on. The fact he survives that initial gank, then roams up and punishes Junhao in his own jungle, that was everything to this game. That is what set up the rest of the squad for success. That is what allowed Knight to be able to have these fun team fights and then pump the damage, pick up the kills.
Now the LPL is a lot of the time looking at the KDA numbers, looking at the best scores, so could end up going towards Knight, but I think I agree with you. On just a monster on the Shen. They banned out so many of his champions that want to be able to go for these early game roams, and he still finds something that is able to have that high impact in that early game from the start, and they're going to give it to him. Shout out to On, your player of the game here in the BLG's opening game of Split 3.
Absolutely deserved right here. Like you said, they had taken away so many of his champions. If you accept the Camille as a possible support pick, which we've been seeing increasingly, right? They take out the Poppy, Camille, the Bard, and the Alistair from him, and he still has a champion to be able to play incredibly well on. The roams were beautiful, just playing in his individual lane was nice, and every time it felt like ThunderTalk were going to find a pick somewhere, Stand United came through, and that was stopped.
The first player of the game, first game, going over to BLG. Our defending champions end with a 1-0 lead over ThunderTalk. Gonna take a quick break here on LPL English. When we return, we'll see if TT can even things up, or it will be a clean sweep to close out our second day of the